welcome to Marci Fitness. I have another question that comes from my private Facebook group. If you are in my private Facebook group, that means you are currently enrolled in one of my challenges. So if you guys are new to me on YouTube, I'm a personal trainer. I run challenges online. I basically hold you accountable to making changes that you know you're ready for, okay? So this person asked a question, and this is also a topic I love talking about heavily because it's so prevalent today. This is what she said. Anyone have tips on how to not emotionally eat? We had a roughish weekend and morning, and I just cooked up a big old bowl of pasta and Alfredo sauce to relax. I love to cook. My Alfredo sauce is amazing. Ate too much, not even tracking it because I'm mad. Haha, starting again tomorrow. But how to not get stuck here in the first place? Okay, so there is a lot in that question. That gives me a lot of information on how I can help somebody start to change their habits, okay? When you have a habit, it is something that you almost do without even thinking. So there's three parts to developing a habit or breaking a bad habit. The very first one is your trigger or your cue, something that sets you off, okay? So this person had a rough-ish weekend and morning. So there was something that happened that triggered them to emotionally eat, okay? Their action, which comes next, so you have your cue or trigger, then you have your action or habit, and then you have your reward. So this person, their action or habit was to eat because they had a rough weekend, okay? And then what was their reward? A reward is going to be something good or something bad. And this person, in their case, it was bad. They're feeling some type of guilt for emotionally eating, and by them asking this question, they recognize that it's not something they want to continue, but they want to stop doing that because they want to not get stuck here in the first place. Okay, so with the habit, trigger, action, reward. So this person, they had a hard time, okay? So first of all, I want to ask them, what was it about your weekend that made it really rough or made it hard for you to stick to eating healthy, okay? They need to be able to recognize that so when it happens again, they can change their action. So another thing they can do is recognizing the trigger and then changing their action. So next time, maybe their rough weekend was out of their control. Maybe it was something that it was environmental and there was nothing they could do about it. There's nothing they can change about the trigger, but they can change the action. So if they had a really rough weekend and they decided to cook up a ton of Alfredo sauce, here's different things they can do for their action. First of all, they can meal prep healthy food ahead of time, okay? Another thing they can do is not stock items in their homes that are going to help them have bad habits, okay? So another thing they can do is take a step back, look at the trigger and say, how am I going to handle this? Because this person said they were mad. They're not even tracking it because they were mad. So a good thing they could have done is still had the Alfredo, but tracked it so that they could understand what they were really doing when they were emotionally eating. Because you wanna know what? Alfredo, like I have had my fair share of Alfredo. I will take Alfredo over marinara any day. And one thing I learned in my degree in physical education and health is that the Alfredo at Olive Garden has almost 1,300 calories in the entire dish, and most of it is fat. So if this person was going to track that, they would probably stop at some point and recognize that it's not worth it, or that the guilt that comes with overeating or emotional eating is just not worth it. So to answer the end of this question, how to not get stuck here in the first place, you have to recognize three parts of the habit, okay? So you got to recognize what your cue was. If it was environmental and you can't change it, then you've got to go straight to the action. If you can control the environment, then I want you to prepare ahead of time and see what you can do differently, okay? That way, the action is super easy. And then the reward, I want you to make it super big. So if you felt really guilty about overeating, then I want you to make your reward super big when it is positive. So if you're like, man, this weekend sucked, I don't even want to track. Well, you know what? I remember how horrible I felt when I emotionally ate, so I'm not going to do that this time. So you may go for a walk instead, or you may read a book, or you may say, hey, this is a great time to do my self-care because I just can't handle this right now. Make your reward super big so that you feel time and time again how good it feels to resort to other rewards. A lot of people think that food is a reward, and a lot of people think that emotional eating helps them feel better, but it doesn't, because most of the time it comes with guilt. We don't want guilt. I want you guys to be able to recognize what your habits are and shift them, because that's the only way you're going to create a new normal and become a happy and healthy person every single day. Because am I ever going to tell you, well, stop eating Alfredo. No, I want you to just be more aware and own up to your choices, because when you recognize what your habits are and you own them, you are being in self-control. And even if the choices aren't the best, you can still be in control of those choices. When you recognize how in control you are, it's going to be easy to say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to emotionally eat, or I don't want to eat all of this Alfredo, or I'm going to choose to not be mad about it. I'm just going to choose to own my choices. So with that, I had another person post in the group, and this goes along with it perfectly, because this person has learning how to shift their habits. And it just takes a step back and say, okay, what's the cue? I'm going to change my trigger, or I'm going to change my action, and then my reward's going to be huge. So this person said, I had a successful day today. My success came in the form of a habit change. I was at a church potluck and was helping set out the food. I was putting some desserts out and came across a plate of chocolate chip cookies. Normally, I would just grab one and finish it in 2 bites, not really tasting it. I looked at the plate and actually paused and thought, are these going to be worth it? I made a conscious decision that it wouldn't be worth it and went on my merry little way. When I went through the line to get my food and came to the desserts again, I saw the lemon bars sitting here, cut so nicely into small servings. Again, I paused and made a conscious decision that it wasn't worth it. If I actually pause and give any thought to the things I put in my mouth, I will realize a lot of them aren't worth it, and I'll be so much better off. That's my goal this week, to pause before I eat something and make a conscious decision about whether or not that food item will help me reach my goals. So I want to thank both of these people in my private group, because this is what makes my private group so amazing, is that people share their struggles, they share what they're going through, and they are constantly looking to progress. I never expect anybody to be perfect, but I want people to own up to what they're doing and become more in control of their bodies, because the only way we're going to be happy and healthy is if we recognize that and shift just a little bit. So this person who is going through a habit change, that's going to be a new normal for her. So if she finds that she's really emotional about something, or her trigger was something out of her control, she's going to stop, make a conscious decision and say, is that going to be worth it? And it's going to help her be happy, not only in the moment, but after time has passed. So I hope that this video is beneficial for you guys, because this is something I talk about when I do fitness education classes in person. Habit shifting is so important, but it's not something that can be done overnight. But there are things that you can learn to just help you take a step back and talk to yourself about, is this worth it or not? And some people are going to think that's weird, but you guys, we talk to ourselves all day long. And if you can just make it positive and be more in control and more self-aware, you're going to be way better off. So when it comes to habits, I want you guys to recognize there's a trigger, there's an action, and there's a reward. And there's always something you can do with each of those steps to be more in control. You don't have to do it all the time, but you can recognize it and change one thing at a time. So you guys, please share this video if you feel like somebody could benefit from this small tidbit of information on how to habit change. Also, please post any comments below this video and I'll be happy to make more. I post videos here Monday through Friday, and please subscribe if you haven't yet, and check out all the other videos I post. I have full-length workouts, I have tons of questions for people in my public and private group, but we just have a lot of fun here. You guys, I'm a personal trainer that is all about fun and sustainable fitness. I will never ever tell you that you can or can't do something, but I will hold you accountable to making better choices. All right, I'll see you guys later. You're awesome. Bye.